right, so we're at Group C, and we're working on implementing a help desk solution. This is our project review meeting, and this is Paul, Robert, and Chris. Just some quick project context. Um, Paul, Robert, and myself are working on implementing a help desk solution, um, and this is our week 4 project. The objective of this project for the week is to simulate a project review meeting. Why we're going after the project. Our company is developing software for managing logistics for small and medium businesses. Currently, they don't have a good help desk solution. It's a lot of manual efforts. A lot of it's coming through emails. There's no real good integration between issue tracking system and the help desk solution. We have a very poor response time, so we're seeking out to solve this problem. Introduction, project status, progress, issues, concerns, and changes, the risk update, budget costs, upcoming milestones and deliverables, and action items. And then we'll have some room at the end for Q&A, which might be difficult because there's no one here to ask questions. Quick project review summary. Our project status is about 70% complete. Currently, we are at risk. Our major risks are we have a server load balancing issue, we have some fake resources going on vacation, and then we have some resource assignment issues. Currently, what we want from this meeting is stakeholders to take some action and make a decision on the direction for the risks. Before we are at 70% complete. Since our last project update, we've made some decent progress towards completing the project. There is a blocking issue from our stress testing, issue number 001, which is the load balancing issue. We have finished our software integration. Staff training is in progress. Quality testing is around 80%, and our stress testing is blocked till we find the solution for our issue. We have our server load balancing issue. It's a high severity. Currently, only 50 requests are allowed at one time. We need about 100 per day, which is what we're averaging. We have a staging server that we need to switch over, and then we need some feature categories that are not defined, and we need to define those. Existing issues that are closed out. We need ad support as admins, which is a high severity issue, and we close that out. We've added support for all of our admins. We chose to close out support for IE6 because we're no longer going to support that. We need to add default messaging, and we have completed that. All right, I believe this is Paul's or Robert's?
This is me. It's Robert. The risk update we talked about earlier was the server load balancing issues, and servers will get under duress during high traffic times and can only handle roughly 50 requests per day, and that's because of just the general stress on the network. The hardware is kind of outdated. It can't really keep up with demand. We're having some issues with some resources, and the resources of people working on the project. People were asking for excessive time off during the project, especially as we got closer to trying to hit certain milestones and close out very high severity issues. We've looking at that, and then we also had people requesting vacation time, jumping the gun, saying, I'm going to take vacation next week, without really talking to us about it ahead of time, without taking consideration what we're doing with the project, how important it is right now, especially as we're getting close to the last 30%, the last leg of our journey here, and things are really starting to ramp up for us. We're also looking at doing some training and deployment. We're looking at different ways to train our employees. The training we're looking at is trying to reach every single person in a wide audience and allow every person to learn to the best of their ability. That way, when we hit the ground running with this, everybody knows what they're doing rather than having to call the help desk person that's on staff constantly trying to figure out how to even put a ticket in. and that can cause a lot of issues, can slow down resources, take up company time. So we're trying to slow that down. Okay, I'm going to move on to the closed out risks that we have so far. If I could head to the next slide, please, Chris.
Oh, sorry, my bad.
No, you're good. These are our closeout risks. As I talked earlier about the excessive practices, we discussed that with the team and said, look, we understand life happens. You can't control a car accident. You can't control somebody getting sick. You can't control yourself getting sick. But just calling out because you feel like it isn't really appropriate, especially when things are so important right now, so vital for us to get this done, and we're on a deadline. And we're talking to people about rescheduling vacation requests that weren't previously scheduled before the project started and before we were able to get things on the ground and knew what we're really getting into. We invested in a good train space in a local facility to get as much people as possible in our corporation to learn about the product, for us to be hands-on with them on our team, to go walk around the room, make sure everybody's on the right page, how to submit tickets properly, how to use the messaging features, which browsers to use even is really important. We also made an instructional video alongside a very easy to understand quick reference guide with tons of graphics and very quick and easy to understand text. That way anybody can reference at any point from our website and say, okay, this is what it is. I forgot where this feature was at. I'm just going to go to that really quickly. It's easy. And we also upgraded some of the hardware on our systems. That's listed in our status report that you'll see in a little bit, to better handle stress on the system especially during high traffic times. I wouldn't say that that part's closed out, but of course we saw some load balancing issues that we're hoping to rectify soon, and it looks like we're pretty good here. I'm going to turn this over to Paul.
Hey guys, as stated, my name is Paul. I'll be going over the budget and the costs for this project. So we had a total targeted budget of $100,000. We knew that a lot of man hours were going to be put into this project. So far, today we've allocated to spend about $34,520 on just for employees. This includes from the trainers to the engineers to management. As Robert mentioned earlier, we did do some upgrades on our system, and we spent about $5,000 on the system upgrades. And so far, we spent a total of about $40,000 on the project so far, and we have about a good $6,000 left. So we're really under budget so far, which is great. And more money for us, and more money for the project. And so our costs isn't really a factor in this one. If we go to the next slide, I could talk about the milestones and deliverables of the project. So the next milestones that we have for the project is to go through QA testing. We want to start collecting data from the testers so developers can fix any bugs that we may have. While we're doing so, we're going to finish staff training. This new ticketing systems can be really difficult just with all of the templates that they may have, assigning people. So we're going to complete staff training hopefully soon. And then, of course, launch our pilot testing is the last milestone that we have. The deliverables that we do have, we want to have for our stakeholders, is the proposal for server offloading. Once we offload to the admins and to the company, then we can start going through a pilot test plan, and then we'll continue on with our training and training schedule. The action items is next on the list. So most action items, uh, the action items that we do have is to select the direction for server balancing, resource vacation, and pilot testing resource risks. Next, we have letting stakeholders know that we have to hire someone at an expensive price for two to fill in for our principal three engineer. However, we'll still be under budget. So basically, um, as stated, one of our admins did go on PTO, but the system needs to get done. Everything needs to get done, and it's hard to find people like them. So we know of staffing companies that we can go through that will provide us principal engineers, and for a short period of time, they are going to cost money. So as long as we're stay on the budget, I'm pretty sure we'll be willing to do that. And then next, it's overtime for all the employees up to 4 hours if need be. Again, our deadline is coming up, so we will need to put in the O2 to get this done. And that's it so far. That's it. Yeah.
All right, thanks, guys. So, like we discussed, we have those 3 action items we need from the stakeholders. We need to discuss how we're going to handle our server load balancing, how we're going to handle our resource vacations, whether or not we need to decide not to give vacations, or whether or not we need to hire additional contractors or anything to that nature. And then we need to get some staff around training. That's all we have. It was great working with you guys. Let's see if I can close this project thing out real quick. We can stop broadcasting.